Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is the professor, Mr. Teaserking, coming to you with a review of last weekend's games. And I'll tell you, some of it just gets very easy and some of it gets very frustrating. And we learn a lot about, we keep learning. In the NFL, I think we've now got 5 weeks in. So we have a really good idea of what is, who the teams are now. And there's, what happens now is you get these new teams. What I keep trying to explain is we learn which teams are what, who are the new A's and Z's, and we learn it about now. So we've had 5 weeks. And so now you get new A teams. Again, the strong teams that are surprises. In other words, Tampa Bay's not an A team. They're more of an over team with Brady getting more comfortable with the offense. They're scoring a ton of points, but they don't shut you out. They don't have a steel curtain defense. Teams like Dallas are now A teams, and Arizona, not quite an A team, but they're very strong. They don't have that real tough defense. We're seeing that Jacksonville is a Z and the Jets are a Z, which we probably knew, and Atlanta. So we kind of see who's what now, which that's what you're looking for. So like a Dallas, like now we can bet Dallas laying 5 or 6 and feel confident they're going to win the game with that offense and that defense. And we can see Washington doesn't have the strong defense. Miami doesn't have that strong defense. Cincinnati's looking better. Green Bay looks powerful. Minnesota, their coaches have their heads totally up their ass. Detroit's such a weird team. They'll get blown out the whole game. And in the last 2 minutes, they did it against Frisco. They did it against Baltimore. And now they did it against Minnesota, but they didn't do it against Chicago or Green Bay, where the last 2 minutes of the game, all of a sudden they show up and they play strong and they somehow score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion and make the game really hard. So that's what you see, but they never win. So it's a real convoluted. So let's go through. I guess we'll start with the pros because we just finished it last night. I had a very successful week. I lost with Seattle over against the Rams on Thursday. And I really hate these Thursday night games because the teams are out of their rhythm, right? You get up, we play on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the weekend game. Lombardi always said you didn't win the game on Sunday. You won the game on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. You prepared, and then you just go play it. You knew what you were doing. Well, these Thursday games really screw that up. That gets the teams out of their rhythm. Do I bet the home dog? Can the road team travel on 2 days rest? And, so it's very, I really don't like it. And I try to, unless it's a real strong game, avoid the Thursday game. So that was one loser. We hit Tampa Bay. Tennessee, I didn't play, but I was curious how they would react after losing the Jets. See, I locked Tennessee over the Jets. Now, here's the problem with betting. I locked Tennessee over the Jets. They lose. All I got to do is win the game. They lose. Even if they tied it at the end, I think I still win. I think I had a half a point or something. So now how can I lock Tennessee over Jacksonville because you just lost with them? And that's the problem with gambling. This has got to be like poker. Each hand's individual, and you can read the person across from you. He's a bluffer. He's not a bluffer. He always bets his aces. If he's got 9-5, he's not going to bet. And, so you can read those. And that's the problem is you got to play Tennessee, Jacksonville as if they didn't play last week. Or, and then Tennessee kills Jacksonville, which would have been a lock this week, but I don't even play it because of what happened with the Jets. So you wonder how bad's Tennessee. Their play calling sucked. Then I noticed they gave the ball to Henry a lot this game, and you're like, well, why didn't they do that against the Jets? The Jets don't have defense. My lock was Georgia under and Minnesota lane 2. So I win the Georgia part. I break even. And what I do, if I break even, if I tie a teaser, I don't lose it. I tie it. So it's not a win. It's not a loss. It goes down to 1. If you do a 3-team teaser and you tie, it goes down to a 2-team teaser with where I bet it at. I know some of these sites, the tie you lose. You get a card in Vegas. I know I think Caesars and some others, the tie you win, but they make the point spreads funny. But this was a tie that should never have happened. They're up 16-6. They miss a field goal. The kid's short with a 49-yard field goal, which nowadays they're hitting them from 60 like it's nothing. And then Detroit gets the ball. They hold them. They kick a field goal. Okay, you figure, okay, they're up 7. And then I don't understand the play call. It's 3rd down after the 2-minute warning. If you're going to run it into the line, take a knee, right? Because you're not going anywhere, right? They got 11 men on. Now, why aren't you maybe throwing on that? But okay. But if you're just going to run it in the line, take a knee. And then the guy fumbles, so now the Lions get the ball at the 20, they score. Then the idiot Lions go for 2, which they never should do. You get the tie, right? If you miss it, you lose. Now what are you going to do? So you're there, tie the game up, go to overtime. No, they go for 2 and they get it. And then Minnie kicks a field goal and wins by 2, which makes me tie in a game I should have never been close in. They should have killed them. And that's the problem. So I get the push on it. See, and that's why I tend to, if you buy from me, you'll see I post strong bets pretty early in the week to avoid this. So I got it at 8. It went up to 10. You lose, you're laying 4. But I tell all my customers the lock's up or the plays are up. And then they know, because I want them, because I know the line's moving up and I know that I want to get it under 3. So that's what happens. Anyway, Minnesota just doesn't look good. There's something wrong with them. Their defense looks strong again. Their offense is terrible. The coaching, I think, is terrible. The play calling, they're not going anywhere. They're just now an under team. So that's Discovery 1. Minnesota just bet them under. Pitt woke up against Denver. See Pitt. So again, Pitt looks terrible, terrible, terrible. How do I bet them? Now they beat Denver as a home dog. So now you're like, okay, which Pitt team showing up? And that's the problem. And that's why you look at matchups. You don't know which team's showing up for half of these teams. This is such a weak league right now. You don't know what to do with it. So now is Pitt back? Is Pitt better? Is Pitt still terrible? Who are we getting? Denver can't be road favorites. We all know that, unless they're playing like a Jacksonville or somebody really weak. They're not. You can't make a team like Denver a road favorite. Green Bay, Cincy. Green Bay looks strong. Cincy looks very good. 82 missed field goals there. I don't know what happened in that game, but I had the game over 44, and it was 22-all. And then they missed 4 field goals, but they finally got one to get the over. New England. I had New England -2, 2.5. Again, what the fuck? They're getting killed by Mills. This is Belichick. I thought he was the wizard. No rookie quarterback can possibly get a first down against the team. And then they pull it out at the end. So Jones is okay. The New England quarterback, I don't mind him for all the rookies. But again, New England, where's Houston getting 22 on New England? Tampa Bay couldn't get 19 on it. So let's say New England was up for Tom Brady, which I doubt. It's a Belichick Brady thing. I don't know why the team would be so jacked up and now flat against Houston. And that's what you have to worry about. Weak teams going on the road. New England's a weak team, defensive team, an under team. They go on the road and they barely win because they don't score a lot. Again, I told you. So there was two two over-unders of 39.5, the Denver Pitt and the New England, and they both go over. Again, when you're looking at over-unders, you got to look at the line, right? If the line fits, then play it. Like Green Bay, since he was 50, I go over 44. That's okay. If they made it 60, I don't want anything to do with it. So again, watch the line of these over-unders, and you just watch the line of the game to see if it's bettable. Chicago beats Oakland 20-9. John Gruden is a terrible coach. You have Fields out there. How many times do you think they blitzed Fields? 2, 3 times. That guy should have been blitzed every time like Cleveland did, right? Cleveland beat him because they blitzed him, and all he did was run away and lay down and throw interceptions and get sacked. But Oakland doesn't blitz him. Why not? And not that he really did anything, but Oakland, they get 9 points on Chicago. I don't know. I don't like Gruden at all. Chicago, I don't know how they get to 20, but Fields doesn't impress me. Mac Jones impresses me. Fields doesn't impress me. San Diego, Cleveland. I love Cleveland as the dog. I thought that was an A team playing a B team, and Cleveland's the A team there, and you take the dog. The Giants and Dallas, I had Dallas laying the 1, and now Dallas looks like an A team. The Giants, it's a hard one. There was a big trend on the Giants as a road dog, which I gave on my pro one. I'll give the trends. And they got everybody injured. So if everybody doesn't get injured, if Jones and Barkley play the game out, now they lost by 24, but they might have covered the 13. So, again, the Giants aren't a bad road dog when healthy somehow for some reason. I don't like Garrett as their offensive coordinator. I don't like their coach. Any of these old New England guys, I don't get it. But Dallas is pounding, and Dallas looks very, very strong. Arizona, Frisco, now Trey Lance comes in. Again, he goes and they want to run. They want to go and run. Like they think running for 10 yards is what the quarterback in the NFL is supposed to do, and it's not. That's only done on 3rd and 8, and I need to run for a first down, not on first down or second down. You got $1 million receivers. You got $1 million running backs. You're supposed to throw the ball to them, and you're supposed to hand it off or throw swing passes or screens. Tight ends over the middle. You're not supposed to run. That's not what this is. This is about throwing the ball to the receivers, because at the end of the day, you're not going to – when you get inside the 25, you're not running it in. And they'll bring in faster guys than you, and you're not going to do anything. So let's see what Lance does. He didn't look good at all. They get 10 points on a weak Arizona defense. Arizona only getting 17. I know they kind of had an off day, but they still got the win. Buffalo, KC. Again, I gave Buffalo 86, now 87% in the last 3 years. They're just the team to play. I played the game over because I knew it would be high scoring. I didn't expect this, but I did expect high scoring. So KC, like I said, they're an over team. Good offense, terrible defense. And they're going through I lost the Super Bowl and I'm flat every week. You just get tired, right? You win a Super Bowl, you go back and you lose it. And then just something goes out of you and you just can't get back to that. You're just not interested, right? Now you have to make the Super Bowl to be interested. The regular games you don't care about. Their backs are against the wall again this week now, thanks to this loss. The over comes in. Buffalo looks very good. Kansas City, again, offensively. Josh Allen looked better. I don't know that KC blitzed them as much as they should have, but definitely went over. And then last night I had Baltimore -1. How they won that game, I don't know, because that was, they looked doomed the whole game. And they come back and get the tie and then go into overtime. Now, why didn't they kick the field goal? Can anybody please explain that? Did the line go down to 5.5 and they were scoring the touchdown for the cover, because you got the ball at the 5. What the hell are you fucking around with? Kick the field goal. You've got the best kicker in the world who makes 66-yarders under pressure to win games, and you're at the 5 and you're having Lamar Jackson throw a pass, and what if it's intercepted? Really stupid coaching there. That should have been a field goal, and they win 28-25, but we win. I had it -1, so my only loser, I tie on the Minnesota lock, and then I lose on Seattle over. And again, Russell Wilson goes out in the second quarter, and they lose 26-17, which is 43. I needed 47. If he plays the second half, it should be a winner. I can't say it would have been, but the odds would have been much better that they would have won it than with Russell Wilson. So keep that in mind. He's out. So if we're ranking the teams now, so let's go with the ranking, right? Okay. Okay, so when I look at it now, I've got 4 A teams: Buffalo, Arizona, Dallas, and Tampa. Buffalo is now 1 at KC, so yes, they had beaten the Jets in Miami, and they lost to Pittsburgh. So the only really good team they played, they lost to. So now they show here's a good win on the road. Now I get Buffalo an A. So you got to prove it, right? If you beat Jacksonville and Carolina beat Jacksonville, the Jets, and Atlanta, well, okay, great, but doesn't mean anything. You've got to get that win. They go to Dallas, they don't win, so that keeps Carolina from an A. You haven't beaten an A. Then they go play and they lose to Philly. So now Carolina, looks like they have a pretty good defense, but they'll get lit up against good teams. So again, so those are my 4 A's. I got 3 B's. New Orleans, you got to give them a B. They're 25 and give up 18 a game. Their defense looks good. Carolina, I give a B too, but again, it's a soft B, maybe a B- if we went that far. But in other words, can I trust the team? Buffalo, I can trust as a dog. Arizona, Dallas, Tampa, any of them are road dogs against anybody. I'm going to bet them. That's what an A team is. You can bet this team, bet them as a road favorite, and they'll get the win for you. Good quarterbacks, good receivers, pretty good balance, pretty good defense. And then that's what you're looking for is who can I rely on? So when I point to learning the year, that's what I'm pointing to is now Arizona and Dallas are now A teams. They weren't A teams before. Dallas, you couldn't count on to win 3 games. In Arizona, they had Kyler Murray throwing the ball around. And so how's their defense? So they had J.J. Watt. So they look pretty good. And they had Rondell Moore. I think it's Rondell Moore, kid out of Purdue, I think. Or Maryland. I keep getting those two confused. But so they had some guys, and they're in the system now for the 3rd year. And so that's what they look at. But they've gotten better, so you can trust them. They just beat the Rams, and they beat Frisco. Now Seattle took themselves out of contention with Russell Wilson getting hurt. They got no chance with this other quarterback. I can't think of his name, but he's nothing. So those are your best 4. Then New Orleans, Cleveland, San Diego, the Rams, and Baltimore are now B teams. So I can pretty much bet them. Baltimore is going to give you anytime they're a dog. The Rams look solid. They lost Arizona, so keep that matchup in hand. their defense hasn't really looked all that strong. I mean, they're giving up 23 a game. Not, in contrast, Buffalo gives up 13, Denver 15, New Orleans 18. So let's look at New Orleans. They only give up 18. And here's the Rams giving up 23, Baltimore giving up 23. San Diego, I like them. They're 28-23 also, but they're almost an A. I mean, they won at KC, which now doesn't look as good because KC's not as strong, but they just hammered Oakland and then they beat Cleveland. So they're pretty much a very live team. And I think they're a dog this week. Who do they have? Who's Cleveland playing? San Diego, where are they? San Diego's at Baltimore. Okay. So San Diego is a very attractive dog this week against Baltimore. But anyway, so they're a B. Denver, they're an under. They don't score enough, but they give up 15. So they score 20, give up 15. A B's, they would have to score like at least 25 to 15, and they would be a B. And if it was 30 to 15, they'd be an A. So I'm looking for the complete team to be an A. They score a lot. Buffalo scores 34, gives up 13. That's what you want. They're good on both sides of the ball, and it's becoming harder and harder to find. But that's what we do is we fight them. That's why I keep all these stats. I watch the games, and I learn, and I have a blank sheet every year. This is how you're successful, how I'm successful, and how I try to make you successful is who's that team going to be this year. So I forget. It's not Kansas City. So you got to wipe them out and you go, San Diego, Buffalo, Arizona, Dallas. That's who I want. We all know Brady and Tampa because they won the Super Bowl. So they're strong. You don't know Dallas and Arizona. New Orleans without Drew Brees is still doing good. So that's all Sean Payton. Carolina, I don't know. I still don't trust them. They lost to Philly. Again, McCaffrey's out. I don't trust Hubbard yet. He was great at Oklahoma State the 2 years ago, but last year he didn't do much. Cleveland definitely looks like a strong team. San Diego, the Rams, Baltimore. All right, so Denver's your under. Which means when they go on the road, it's hard to bet unders when they're road favorites. You can bet them as a road dog, but not as a road favorite. Then we get to our next tiers. I really call them either under or E's, and I'll explain that. So my Cincinnati is kind of an E team. They're even. They score 23, give up 20. They're not quite. They don't score enough to be a B team, but they score too much to be an under. An under is like New England. They score 19, give up 18. So that's your under team. That's why I'm surprised Houston with Bills would score 22 points on them and have a big lead where New England had to come from behind to win it. But Cincinnati, Minnesota is I think they're an under team now. I have them as an E, but I think I got to make them an under. They just don't know how to score. Their offense is horrible. Cousins, I don't know what he's doing. They should have dominated that Lions secondary between Thielen and Jefferson. Detroit doesn't have a secondary, and the guy, they put up really 16 points on the Lions is a freaking embarrassment. That's a horrible quarterback play or coaching or whoever. New England's an under. Tennessee I have as an E. Why? Because they score a lot, but their defense sucks. So they're 26-26, and they played a pretty good schedule, although they beat Jacksonville and with Jets. They lost to, so it's hard to get too excited over them, except for they're going to score a lot. So their defense gives up 26, so if they play a good offensive team, they're going to light them up like Seattle. But their offense with Henry is good enough that they can score, so they're a good over team. They're kind of an E and an over. Green Bay, again, I don't know what to do. They score 24, give up 24. Now, do you throw out the first game with New Orleans? If you do, it definitely makes them about a 27-28. and maybe a 22. So they would go to a B. So they're probably more of a B team than an E team. So you got to use your logic and go, well, what happened? And then you got that one sour game. And then they beat Baltimore and Detroit and Pittsburgh, and now they beat Cincinnati. So really, they're not playing at an E level. They're playing at a B level. So you got to – that's why you can't always just look at the numbers. You've got to look at the team, the face value to see what's real and see how Aaron Rodgers is doing. Frisco, they're an E. They're 23 and they give up 24. Their defense isn't strong. Trey Lance will definitely hurt their scoring. So I don't know. They're probably more of an under team with Lance. You got to watch all these rookie quarterbacks. Most of those teams are under. Seattle, they were an E team. They scored 25, give up 25. So their defense is terrible, but they would be an over without Russell Wilson. Now what are they? They're not going to score, and they're going to give up points because their defense is terrible. And so you've got to almost make them a W, which is a weak team that's not going to score a lot and give up a lot. Now we'll see how this new quarterback is. I know he's played a while. He hasn't played in a while, but he's played in the league. He's not like brand new. So he should be okay after a while. But right now, I don't really trust Seattle too much. Oakland, I don't know. They're terrible. They score 23. They give up 24. They should score more with Carr and that offense. They don't. Their defense, questionable what they are. So it's just a neat team, and I have no idea when you would play them. I don't know what's a good scenario for that. How do you trust this team? They beat Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and they lose. They barely beat Miami, and then they go lose to the Bears with Fields. I can't figure them out. KC, we know, is an over team. They're not a B team. They give up 33. A B team, an A and a B have to have more offense than defense. So this team, Kansas City, you just go, if they play a good quarterback, it's going over because they can't stop the win, but you can't stop Mahomes. So it's definitely an over team. But right now, until they fix their defense, they're not going anywhere. Teams that give up a lot of points do not do well in the playoffs. Philadelphia, I got them even. I don't know. Again, it's Jalen Hurts. Carolina blitzed them, and guess what? They sacked him, 5-6 times. He did get the win, but again, if you blitz these guys, they don't know what to do. There's a running back everybody knows called Earl Campbell, and he played in the 70s, and he was on the Houston Oilers teams against the Steelers teams. The Steelers teams that went to the Super Bowl in the late 70s. And there was two ways you played them. Either you watched them run by you, or you got in the backfield and didn't let them get going. That's what the Steelers did. Joe Green, Ham, Lambert, they would attack him in his backfield, so he could never really get going. And he would get 20, 30 yards in the game against the Steel Curtain. That's how you got to defend these running quarterbacks. You got to blitz safeties that are, that's the same speed, right? You can't have a 300-pound lineman chasing Lamar Jackson. However, you put a strong linebacker or safety who's quick on him, and he's not going anywhere. That's how you got to handle these fast quarterbacks who really hurts. Can he throw? He's starting to throw better. We'll keep an eye on him. But again, I don't trust Philly. They're definitely more of an even team. They're giving up 25 a game. I thought their defense would be stronger, but this is what these stats show. The Bears are an under. They score 17, give up 20, and it's going down. They'll probably score 14 and give up, maybe less than 20. They need to run the ball more, but they lost Montgomery. So how they beat Oakland is a mystery. That's just Oakland got so far out-coached, but the Bears are definitely an under. That's going to be low-scoring games. Indy, they're a mystery. They score 21, give up 24. Who the hell knows? Again, are they when do you play them? Then they do what they did against Baltimore where they lit it up and their defense let them down and it went into overtime right in the 20s. So can you play them? I don't know. In their division, yeah, Jacksonville, you can probably play them. And and against Houston, but Tennessee, I don't know. And then when they venture out against the good teams, they showed up against Baltimore. So I don't know. Wentz, you know my opinion on him. He's not very good. He has his moments. Maybe he's playing a little bit better here. We'll see. Pittsburgh scores 19, gives up 22. They're an under team. They don't score. They have a good defense. Did they wake up against Denver? What's going on? So you keep an eye on them. They might be rising. So that's what you want to watch. If Pittsburgh plays another good game now, we can start trusting them. But you know they got 2 with Baltimore. You know they got 2 with Cleveland and 2 with Cincinnati. Or I think they have another with Cincinnati. So that's really the tell mark. How do they play? Baltimore and Cleveland will tell you the real Pittsburgh team. Washington, I thought they had a great defense with Chase Young, and they are an over team. They're scoring 25 with Tyler Heineke, and they're giving up 31. Washington's giving up 31. Now, here's a matchup, backs against the wall play. I'm giving you right now for next week. Guess who's playing Washington? That's right, Patrick Mahomes in the offensive machine off of a loss in a must-win, laying only 6.5 over under 55. You can play this game over, or you can tease KC -0.5. That is a matchup beauty. You got Mahomes going against a defense giving up 31 a game. He's going to light it up. I mean, they're going to score 50 points in this game. So it's an easy over. It's an easy KC. Backs against the wall. Again, they lost to a good Buffalo team, but they got embarrassed. Super Bowl teams getting embarrassed are going to be pissed off, and they know what to do because they're strong. So that's just it's a beautiful matchup for KC and for us. And now we've got, again, KC off a loss, backs against the wall. They have to win, and off we go. Giants, their defense sucks. They give up 28 a game. Dallas lit them up. Depends on the injuries. Watch the injuries. Jones and Barkley, if they play, they're pretty competitive. If they don't play, bet against. Detroit, they score 20, give up 28. Again, a bad defense, bad secondary. They score enough if you keep the game close. If the game's close in the final 2 minutes, they'll score on you. But against a good team or a good defense, they don't show up. Against Aaron Rodgers, they don't show up. So they show up a little, but then it gets figured out. So, again, be careful. They're a W. Atlanta's a W. Terrible defense, giving up 30. And if you notice, all these teams on the bottom have bad defenses. Houston gives up 28. They score 18. They had an anomaly against New England. How the hell they scored 22 with Mills? They only score 18. You got Mills. You get 22 on a strong defense like New England. It's just mind-boggling. A lot of probably turnovers and a lot of penalties, I'm sure. The Jets. So here's my 4 Z teams: Houston, the Jets, Jacksonville, and Miami. None of these teams get 20 points, and all of them give up. Well, the Jets give up 24, but the rest give up 28, 30, 31. How the hell are you in the NFL and you're giving up? Miami gives up 31 with that defense. Jacksonville gives up 30. Now that I can understand. So why isn't Urban Meyer running the Ohio State offense and defense is beyond me. He must be really freaking out for him to be going through all this. I mean, he'd lose 2 games in 5 years at Ohio State, and he's already lost 4, and he's going to lose 5. No, he's already lost 5, and who do they got this week? They've got, or maybe they're off. They got Miami. So they go to England and play Miami, and they wonder why ratings and tickets are down in London. Who the hell would want to go see Atlanta and the Jets? And then you get Miami and Jacksonville. So the Z teams go to London. Who cares? The Jets are Z. Atlanta was the Z. So basically 4 of the 5 Z's are the ones going to London. Great way to showcase your talent. So that is what I am coming. So you could call it a power rating, but I don't know what the hell that is. So I'm using the numbers and I'm using my eyes to see what the hell is going on here. Let me see. Is there any? Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm looking at my spreadsheet, so let me answer these questions. Shady Who, I'll start from the top. I don't know if you guys can see the questions in chat, but I have it here. KC Segners, absolutely. And, I love Honey Badger. I loved him at LSU. So it's kind of weird. They're not getting a pass rush. They weren't in the championship game. They blitzed Josh Allen and he got 9 points, and they didn't do that on Monday night or Sunday night. I hit on all my teasers this week except on the Vikings, and I was able to trap on the Ravens and Colts game. Very good. Yeah, that's what you do. It was a good game to trap. Yeah, the Vikings, had you bet it earlier, you would have pushed on it, but they were up 10 and they missed the field goal to go 13. The game's over. The Lions have to get 2 touchdowns. They're not going to do it. And it was one of those things. No, you can't trust the Vikings unless you play them under. So you find them. Who do they got this? Let's walk through the Vikings this week. Minnesota's got Carolina over under 46. Now that's an under. Right. I don't trust them as a dog. I don't know who Carolina is. I got Carolina as a B and Minnesota as an under. I think under 52 is the only way to bet Minnesota. Raiders coach is gone as well. He's terrible. I don't know why they hired him. I was never impressed with Gruden, and listening to him in the broadcast booth didn't impress me. Why they didn't go after Urban Meyer is beyond me. But yeah, he's terrible. I was just thinking using KC in a teaser. Absolutely. You can play that game over. That game's going to 75 because both defenses give up 30, and apparently this Heineke's not that bad of a quarterback. So he'll score 20 on Kansas City. KC's going to rip Washington's defense for 40 at least, maybe 50. Like I said, this game will be in the 60s. The over-under on it is 54, 55. So you kick it to 49. That's by the end of the third quarter, you got a W there. But yeah, KC minus a half should kill Washington. But again, their defense sucks. Derek, how you doing, Derek? Oakland's trying to hurt the guy instead of containing him in the pocket. Raiders stupid mistakes. Gruden gone. Great. I saw that, and Fields took a big shot. Now here's my thing. I'm used to the NFL where the goal of the defense was Jack Tatum trying to knock Lynn Swann out of the game. That's what I'm used to. And to see this, if you're going to go after Fields and get this roughing the passer, then freaking rough the passer, man. They should go in and just headhunt him and let a safety go in. Don't let these linemen, let the safety or a quick linebacker go in and just take his head off and say, welcome to the NFL. How you lose to Fields is beyond me. That was ridiculous. How I didn't bet the Raiders, I don't know. I just didn't trust them. But I would have bet against Fields all day, and I will. Urban Meyer can only win when he pays for players in college. So that's the same thing as Debo Sweeney at Clemson and the guy at Alabama who I'm Nick Saban. These guys win because they pay the player. Like Nick Saban's got 5 stars coming out of his ass, and he goes and plays these teams that look at him against Texas A&M. How does Alabama lose that game? But that's what it is. So Urban Meyer at Ohio State, at Florida, he pays the players. He gets the good players. He runs a system with the running quarterback who can throw. He had much better players at Ohio State than he does at Jacksonville. I mean, you can't even – Ohio State last year could probably have beaten Jacksonville. Ohio State this year is not as strong, but they could still probably beat Jacksonville. Their scheme, Jacksonville couldn't handle it. Why he's not running the Ohio State schemes, I don't know. But, well, again, don't be too hard on Urban Meyer right now. He's stuck with Lawrence, who's not a very good quarterback, and he's trying to run. I love these new quarterbacks trying to run. What the fuck are they doing? You're there to throw the ball. Tom Brady runs on 3rd and 8 in the Super Bowl. He doesn't fade back thinking, I'm gonna run because they're playing man to man. So I don't like it, and none of those runners ever do anything in the playoffs. You can see Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. You don't win. You win Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. That's what wins. Ryan, do the Ravens have 9 lives? How they won that game, I have no idea. I wasn't even watching it. I had Baltimore -1 in a teaser with who did I have it with? Another -1. I think I had them with New England. I think. Yeah, I think I had New England with Baltimore. Or no, I had Dallas with Baltimore in a teaser. I had Dallas won by 100, and I got Baltimore -1, and I play it, and I didn't trap it, and I figured Baltimore's going to win at home. I don't like Wentz. And how the hell they pull it. And I watched the highlights this morning because it's only 20 minutes. I don't want to waste 3.5 hours watching commercials and listening to these announcers bring in the referee so he can play judge going, well, that was a penalty. It's such bullshit. The penalties now, so many pass interference and offensive pass interference. What the hell is that? The guy touches them. That's part of football. There's hand checking going on like in the NBA. That's fine. That's what you should do. That shouldn't be a penalty. And notice when it comes. The team will be up 14 points. All of a sudden, they get the defensive interference. So the game can get close. And then the games all end close. And you wonder, well, let's see. How many pass interference penalties did I have on the team up 14? So the other team can waltz down and score the touchdown. And now they're down 7. And you can say, look how close the game was. Well, yeah, when you're fixing the game like that, absolutely. Arizona should lose first game. Who's Arizona playing? Arizona at Cleveland. Yeah, they probably will, but it's, I think, a live dog in that game. Arizona's tough with all their wide receivers to stop. I think Arizona is definitely a good dog in that game. Ryan, do the Ravens have? We just talked about them, Ryan. I think Cincinnati's offense will start scoring more over the next few weeks. I think their ceiling is high. Yeah, I like Chase and Burrow. A little bit more help from the running to keep them balanced. They missed so many field goals against Green Bay, so really it's a 30-point game, and Green Bay's got a pretty good defense, not great. Let's see how Cincinnati does with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. That's their – I think they beat one of them. Did they beat Pittsburgh? So Baltimore's defense is not that strong. Cleveland's probably the best team in that division now. So you just got to take that in, but they don't have that shutdown D. There's not a lot of teams that really have a shutdown D. So absolutely. But I think, yeah, as well, Chase and Burrow know each other from LSU. I was surprised they let Moss's kid go. He was the tight end at LSU, and they cut him, and that was a very bad coaching decision because the more LSU guys you get on the team, the better it is. Man, I hope they get this Boutte, the number one. This wide receiver on LSU is unbelievable. He makes Chase look like a high school guy. If they can draft Boutte, and I don't know, they're going to win too many games, but if he falls down to Cincinnati, I would highly recommend getting Boutte and Chase with Burrow. They'll score 40 a game. It'll be like the San Diego Chargers back with Dan Fouts, and they had all those superstar wide receivers. But, yeah, they should start scoring more. Their defense – they'll probably be a good over team. They're not that strong defensively, and they don't run enough, but they need to run more to rest the defense. Derek, football is 4 quarters, not 3. Get field goal kicker can kick clutch in the games. Absolutely. I highly agree. I don't know how they missed 13 extra points. I would just Get rid of those kickers. If you can't make an extra point in a pro game, you're not a pro. Why would they have him on the team? So I don't know. The Green Bay kicker, he didn't miss too badly on a couple, but yeah, he shouldn't be in. I got a message just held for review. I don't know what that message is. Whoever sent it after Derek and before Shady. Let's see. Bills Chief game had 17. Yeah, so careful on the swearing. I don't care about it, but I guess YouTube does. Had 17 penalties total. Let them play. Absolutely. And notice when they happen, right? And notice the offensive pass interference bullshit. That I don't like. But definitely they're calling way too many penalties. And then these announcers, we don't need to see Gene Saratar or these old refs explain the rule book to us. Nobody cares. I don't need to listen to them. That's all just bullshit that should not even – why are they even there? Give me Pat Summerall and John Madden, or give me, go watch an old Rose Bowl game with Kurt Gowdy and Don Meredith or those, those are the announcers, not this crap. Start betting Pittsburgh unders. Smith-Schuster's out. Harris will run more, and their defense is solid. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. Even with Roethlisberger, they're not scoring. Did I give Pittsburgh an under? Let me see. How did I rank them? Yeah, I got them as an under. Yeah, against Seattle, the over-under is 42. At least that's what I saw last night. So you got Pitt, Seattle. How are they going to score with Geno? What's his name? He's not a very good quarterback. It just blows my mind. You see, Nathan Peterman was the backup in a game. What the hell is Nathan Peterman doing in the league? You got Jake Fromm sitting on the bench at Buffalo, and you got Nathan Peterman. Go trade for Jake Fromm. I don't understand these teams. Jake Fromm, if you watched him at all in college, at Georgia, against Alabama and LSU and Auburn and Florida and Clemson, guy's a winner. What the hell is this guy not playing for? I don't understand. It blows my mind. Then the teams, here's Nathan Peterman walking out. Okay. I think KC's overrated. Washington will keep it closer than you think. Washington might keep it closer. I do agree with that, but I think KC even's a winner, and I love the over because KC's going to score 40 or 50 points in the game by themselves. After a loss, they're going to be pissed off. Washington's defense is terrible. I mean, Washington's given up 30 points to the freaking Giants, okay? And then you got Washington, Heineke's scoring in the 30s. KC can't stop the win. So, yeah, this should be an easy over, I would think. I think that's the correct way to play it. KC's not overrated. They're flat because of the 2 Super Bowls, and their defense isn't there. So they have the great offense with an average defense. And, yes, they played 2 long seasons, 2 Super Bowl seasons. So they're just flat because they're tired mentally. You can't play all that football. That's what's happening to KC. So you got to be very careful. They're going to turn it on this week because they have to win. And they'll probably do what they did against Philly and put up a 40. I agree with you. But when they play these the Buffalo, they just don't have the defense to stop them. People in love with Tennessee. I see Buffalo handling them on Monday night. Let's see what that spread is. I think, is that Monday night? Yeah, Buffalo laying 5. Like I say, Buffalo is like 87% in a teaser. So whoever Buffalo plays, just play them. But I don't know who's in love with Tennessee. Besides Henry, they don't, Tannehill sucks. Their defense sucks. I don't see them. Buffalo will handle Henry. Like I said, if you get in the secondary, if you get the secondary into the backfield, you stop Henry. That's how you stop Earl Campbell. So I see Buffalo certainly being able to do that. 2016. I like to guess, Ryan, 2016 Steelers against, they're playing the Russell Wilsons without Russell Wilson. Yeah, I don't know that Seattle did score 16 points with their quarterback, but yeah, I think it's a low-scoring game, and I certainly don't see Seattle winning without Russell Wilson. Otherwise, it's too bad because they're the best road dog. They're like them in San Diego are such great road dogs. I would take Tennessee plus 11. Tennessee is better than they are playing. Well, let's look at the Jet game, and it's hard to make that comment. Yeah, against Jacksonville. Now that's one that I would bet if Georgia was playing Jacksonville, Georgia, the college team, I would bet Georgia and lay 7. Georgia's that strong, and Jacksonville's that weak. But yeah, well, Tennessee and 11. I don't know. I wouldn't really fuck with Buffalo. Buffalo is, they're on a different level. KC and Dallas, two teamer teasers. Is that KC and Dallas? Yeah, Dallas should destroy New England, and absolutely. And I'll give you a good college one that I'm just starting to look at college. It's just so many games. I mean, I fill out like 2 sheets for college, and I go right to the Georgia game and the Clemson game. So the first thing I look at is what's the under in the Clemson game, 45.5. Playing a good Syracuse defense. That's the first under. And then I go to Georgia. Where's Georgia? They're playing Kentucky. Where is it? Okay. First of all, Georgia's 23 over Kentucky. Kentucky's not that bad. Over under 45, under 50. Anything under 50 with Georgia is a lock. I had them the last 2 weeks as unders. They are by far the best team, and you do not bet against that team that I've seen. They're much better. Alabama has no chance against Georgia because I saw highlights of the Arkansas game, but I was watching the game against who'd they just play? Auburn. Auburn's a good team, okay? Auburn's an A team. They score in the 30s. They give up 20. They played Penn State tough. They didn't have a chance in the game. They couldn't move. You can't move on Georgia's defense. And Kentucky's got a very good defense. So if you're looking for a 4 or 5 team teaser, Clemson under, Georgia under, the 2 you just talked about, KC and Dallas, maybe KC over. There's 5 games right there that are real strong. 2-team teaser. Yeah, think about almost playing a 3-team teaser, Andy. I don't know what your juice is. In other words, are you laying 110? Are you laying 120? Are you laying 130? And then what's your odds on a 3-teamer? So if you're getting a 3-teamer at plus, you want to take just make KC, Dallas, and Georgia under as a 3-teamer. And instead of laying 120 or 130, you actually will get 110 or 120 or 130 for a 3-teamer. I think 4-teamers, you get like a whole 2-to-1 to pick 4 games right, which is insane. But we might be better off doing 3-team teasers because of the odds are getting pretty steep on. I know some people are laying 130. I go, stay away from MGM's apps, this FanDuel, all this bullshit. Stay away from a 130 on a teaser. That's absolutely, you should never lay that much. But as you can see, we come up with 15 guys. I went 8 and I think I was 7-1 in the pros. So I mean, I got plenty of games to make bigger teasers. Derek, Wisconsin have to destroy Army. It depends who the Army quarterback is. I'm not sold on Wisconsin. They got a good defense, but I will give you Army going to Oklahoma, playing them 21-all, and then they went to Michigan, and it was like 21-17. So I'm not. If Anderson, the Army quarterback, plays, Army can win the game. If he doesn't play, then yes, I like Wisconsin. So look at that. I love money line for college football. No more than 6 or 7 teams. Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy. Take Georgia. Normally take Alabama. I mean you can always like UCLA. That was a big game for me against Arizona. Arizona stinks. UCLA wins by 18. Try to keep them the home teams and try to keep with teams with good defenses. The good defenses will beat the good offenses every time. So you want Ohio State and, bet against the weaker teams there. Ryan, Tennessee would beat Georgia by at least 21. I respect your picks in general. I love your channel, but Tennessee. No. I'm not saying Tennessee. I'm saying Jacksonville. Georgia would beat Jacksonville with that crap that Jacksonville puts on the field. Not Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee would win. Most of the pro teams would beat Georgia, but I guarantee you that Georgia defense, they got 11 guys. They'll have at least 8 drafted in the first 2 rounds. That's how strong this defense is. I mean, Christ, they give up 5 points a game. Let's see. Wisconsin by 14 this week. Again, if the Army quarterback plays, Army can win. But if he doesn't play, yeah, Wisconsin. But Army's a good team, but not without the quarterback. Andy Ryan, he said Jacksonville. Yeah, okay, no problem. Alabama defense coordinator is awful. Yeah, I agree. DBs running into each other. Cornerback to me got exposed. Lose the second quarter. Alabama surprised me. You're better, Nick. Yeah, I mean, how they lost to A&M? A&M, Arkansas killed A&M. And that goes back to people liking Mississippi last week. And I was trying to keep you away from that game. You've got to look at the game even, forget the points. Arkansas beat Texas, and you saw what Texas did to Oklahoma, and they beat A&M, and we now saw what A&M did to Alabama. So don't disrespect Arkansas. They're a good fucking team, and Georgia rolled them, and that's my point about Georgia. Georgia shut out Arkansas, who beat Texas A&M, and I'll put up a 50 on Mississippi, who doesn't have a good defense, and Georgia shut them out. That's all you need to know about Georgia, but don't underplay Arkansas. You've got to. They're not last year's team. They're this year's team, and this year's team, they are very explosive, very strong quarterback and running. Arkansas is a good freaking team. So against most of the normal teams, they're going to be good. You got to be careful against a Georgia. It's hard to fuck with Georgia. Georgia will definitely beat it. They'll beat anybody. They're this year's like LSU, but they have everything. They're complete: quarterback, receivers, running back, and the best defense I've seen in 10 years. Okay, my bad. Don't worry about it, guys. It's all right. The 2 team is minus 120. That's why I like using 3 teams. Shady, go to Bodog. You can get them for 110, and try William Hill. Last time I was in Vegas, and I couldn't go last year because of COVID. William Hill's colleges were even money. I think they're 110 now. So try William Hill. He gives the best odds. Stay away from these FanDuels and DraftKings. They're just scams. The odds are so high, but I do agree. Go to 3 or 4 teams. Play 4 teams for a little less money, but I think you get 2 to 1 there. Or take it to a 5 or 6 team, smaller money, and then get the odds, because definitely the odds are in our favor. Let's see what this message. Potential inappropriate messages are held for review. Okay, guys, I don't care, but be careful swearing. YouTube's holding the message, so please be careful on that. Like I said, I don't care. Alabama screwed me last week. Yeah, well, Alabama, they just terrible. Derek, so here's my question. Will Arkansas beat Auburn? Well, what's the spread? We don't care. They should, but we want to know the spread. Arkansas and Auburn. It'd be nice if they put them in order by conference. Then I could find the teams quicker. Let's see. Arkansas is 3.5 over Auburn. I don't know that I would even take Auburn to 9.5. Auburn's a good team, but I'd be careful with that one. Again, I think they will. I think they're a very good team, Arkansas. Auburn, I don't know. After playing Georgia, I don't know how you react. I remember years ago, teams after they played Notre Dame were so emotionally up for the game. The next week they lost 15, 16 times after Notre Dame. Different teams would lose. I don't know how it is after you play Georgia, but Arkansas should bounce back. But Auburn's pretty good too. Auburn's an A team, so they're both A teams. So my point would probably take the dog in a teaser there before I took Arkansas to win against a good, look at who they're playing. It's a good Auburn team. Pick the score, and then then you can figure it out. Crazy, some sports books are charging 130 for. Well, because if people aren't smart enough to shop around, it's like gas, right? You need gas for your car. And I go to a gas station, a Speedway, and it's 302. And I drive by another, like a Shell, and it's 329. And I'm like, why is there any cars buying gas for 329? Because they're stupid people. They don't shop around. They don't look for – it's gas. It's nothing different between Speedway gas and Mobil and Exxon and all that stuff. It's all the same. I'm putting gas in my car to drive. So I don't care. But if people wouldn't bet on them, they couldn't charge 130. This goes back to I do economic videos also, and it goes back to the market. If nobody would use a teaser by these sports books, they couldn't charge 130. So people go on, and people don't even look at the odds. And I would ignore it. I would never lay 130 in a teaser. I remember when I was younger, it was even money. And people would laugh, oh, you're playing a teaser, you can't win. And I laughed when I bought a car with the teaser money. So you can win if you know what you're doing and you know what you look for. And that's what I have learned. One guy told me, it's like you found the Holy Grail. And I go, I did find the Holy Grail. I know what to look for, what's important. And that's why I'm so successful at it. Anyway, take Iowa this week. Their defense will shut down Purdue. I know Iowa's coming off a big one. I always look out for teams. Yeah, but it's in conference, so I don't think Iowa's going to be flat. Where's the game at in Iowa? Let me see if I can find it. Iowa. Yeah, Iowa 12.5 over Purdue, over under 44. Bet it under. That's an underplay because Purdue doesn't score. I don't understand. They got the coach from Western Kentucky who lit it up, and then he comes to Purdue and he doesn't do anything. And again, they're not putting in their own quarterbacks. They're playing these quarterbacks that are bad, but this is definitely an under. This is not A versus A. Like last week, I told you to take Penn State as the dog, and they were killing them until the quarterback got hurt. But yeah, I mean, so Penn State was a winner. Iowa comes back, but in this game, Iowa will not be flat this week. But Purdue's got a pretty good defense, so it's definitely an underplay. You got 44 to 50. Under 50 is a good number. If it gets too low, then you can't play the under. Like I say, you start seeing 39s, it's hard to play the games under. And the 39s that I saw last week all went over. If you went down to if you went over 33, you won. So be careful on that. But yeah, get it in at 50, and the under is a good play. Help me on fantasy blankership for D. Williams from Kansas, Beasley for D. Booker from Gino. I don't really do fantasy, but I can do my best. Blankership for D. What is blankership? Is that a person? Williams from Kansas, Beasley for D. Booker from. I can tell you, Geno Smith. Seattle's playing Pittsburgh's not going to have a good game. Hunt for Gronk. Well, it's hard with Hunt because you got the Georgia guy there, so he's playing half of it. I can tell you on fantasy, you bet against. So if you're playing Jacksonville or you're playing these weak defensive teams, then I would play my offensive players against the weak defense. If you're going up against Buffalo, I probably wouldn't mess around too much with players. So it depends on the team. And so you see, I the beginning of the video, I broke everything down by team, by over under. So look for the weak teams. The Z teams is who you want to pick on in fantasy, and that's who you're going to score a lot of points with. And your defense against weak, like if you're playing the Jets, play your defense. If you're playing Kansas City, don't. Derek, LSU coach on hot seat. Does he have a chance with Florida -10? Is that the spread? Florida laying 10? Yeah. At LSU, I hate their quarterback. I hate LSU's quarterback. He is terrible. I do not trust him. Over under a 58. The only thing LSU has going for him is that great wide receiver, Bear, I think his name is. I mentioned it earlier, but LSU, Kentucky killed him. Kentucky, I watched those highlights, and Kentucky looks pretty fucking good, but LSU's their problem's quarterback again. So hard game to play. I don't know that. I don't know. Florida's a really good team. They'll score a lot. I don't know LSU which quarterback's going to show, but they got great receivers. So maybe it's an over in that case, over 52. But again, I don't trust the quarterback. Is the coach on the hot seat? I don't know. It's hard. You win a national title, but again, how much is the coach? How much is Joe Burrow and Chocolatey Claire and Chase and Moss and all these great receivers, Jefferson? That's one thing Cincinnati should trade for is get Jefferson on that team with Chase and Burrow, and they would really light it up. Oh, my God, that would be incredible. So I don't know if he's on the hot seat. I don't know what they do. I mean, he did win the title, but their problem this year's their quarterback got hurt, and now they got the second string quarterback. So how much do you blame the coach on? But it's all the quarterback's problem. Long term, don't see how you can beat the normal spread and paying the juice. That's why we do teasers. I took a Baltimore game in Dallas, lane 7 each, down to 1. I win them both. Dallas happens to win easy. Baltimore, I get a miracle and win. But in the NFL now, there's so much of keeping the games close. Unless you're taking good dogs, it's to take it down to 1 is really the way to play it. So you've got to tease it. You got to tease them under 3, get it to 1, get it over 7, get it over 10. It's really the way. There's very few where you can just look at the line, go, look at Minnie laying 8, goes to 10, and they should have won by 9, but they didn't. But I mean, very few, and the blowouts happen on turnovers, which you can't predict. You know, who knows how you're going to get turnovers, block punts, pick sixes, strip sacks. I mean, that's where you get overs from. So it's extremely hard, and I very rarely bet a straight game. I think the last one I bet was the USC Notre Dame game in '73 with Anthony Davis. That game I remember. Lane 7 with USC thinking, well, that's a loser. They're down 24-0, and then here comes the second half. But really, it's so hard to play the game straight. Maybe you can get even these 30-point college games, they backdoor them. Nevada got backdoored by New Mexico State. They're laying 31 or 32. They're up big, and they win by 30 at the end, New Mexico State, and they win 50-something to 28. And you had to tease it to win it. So, yeah, I just stay with teasers because if I don't play a teaser and I lose, I'm extremely pissed off because I should be betting teasers. Derek, if you had a bad day, If you had a bad day, I really see Nevada beating an awful Hawaii team, guaranteed. Well, I mean, you can bet Nevada. You don't have to wait to have a good day or bad day. Lane 16, over 60. I think it's an over game. Hawaii scores. Nevada, I don't know. What do I have Nevada ranked? I have Nevada as an A over. So they score a lot. Their defense gives up, but it's a high 8 team. So they probably score like 37, but give up 22. So I consider them like an A, but also an over, and Hawaii is an over team. As long as the quarterbacks are playing, I think that's almost a good over game. But yeah, Nevada, very strong team this year, and they got them at home. You're going out to Hawaii, things happen because of the travel and the weather, but you get them in Nevada, and Hawaii has to travel. But they're not an awful team. They are an over team, though. Blankersip is the kicker from Colts. Yeah, the guy from Georgia. I don't know. Do you play kickers? I mean, I don't know, Indy, do they kick a lot of field goals? Who does Indy play? Let me see if I can answer your question. Indy next week has Indy. Indy's got Houston. Houston's a Z team, so Indy should drive the ball. Are they going to get touchdowns or need field goals? But yeah, it's a good place to play a kicker is against the Z team. So definitely against Houston, he should have a big day. Teasers are beatable 1,000%. I'm 10-1 this year. I think you mean teasers are the way to go. Yeah, I mean, you can win with teasers. I wouldn't be doing this. And, I've won a lot of money. I've been teasing. I can't. I think it was 77. Yeah, the Notre Dame Texas game, Montana against Earl Campbell. That was my first teaser. Believe me, I don't do things to lose money. I am very, very competitive. If I lose, I look at why and try to correct it, which is why I'm so successful now, is I've looked at every variable. Basically, I'm the professor in the money heist. I'm looking for every thing that can go wrong. And I'm very careful on my bets. I've learned how to do it as an art, where I put the Georgia under in 2 teasers. I had UCLA in 2 teasers. Mini in 2 teasers. Dallas, I think I had them in 1. But I'm very careful, and that's how you beat them. I'm happy for you, Ryan. That's great. Did you sign up? You can sign up for my locks, and you can add those. What I used to do, Ryan, is I had this guy, Ron's Enterprises from Florida, this is the mid or late 70s, and it was $25, and I'd get a newsletter in the mail because there was no email back then, and I'd look at his picks just for confirmation. Now, I know what I'm doing, but you like to hear other people that are pretty highly, thought of, and if we agreed on the game, I would bet a little bit more. If we disagreed, I'd either play mine or say screw it and not play it. And he gave a 90 on one of his, and he always gave 70s and 75s, and it was Florida State over Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. I bet $2,000 on that teaser, getting Florida State in 13. And Florida State was winning 17-10 with 30 seconds left, and they lost 18-17, and I won $2,000. And so when he does give a 90, so it's good to get advice of multiple people who know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, don't listen to the radio and all these idiots on Fox and the radio guys and the TV. They don't know what they're doing. They're a bunch of morons. Because they played or coached doesn't mean they know how to handicap. So avoid them. Plus, we're looking at it in teaser terms. We're not looking at it in straight terms. So if you see a -7, my thought is my thought on Kansas City 6.5. Everybody's thinking I'll get it in under 7. My thought is, hey, I got to lay a half a point with KC against the shit defense of Washington. Thank you very much all day. After a loss, backs against the wall. So I look at it as I'm laying a half a point. That's why it's successful. Derek, what Bama team comes out Saturday? A pissed off Bama team. Who are they playing? Mississippi State. They're laying 17. Mississippi State's decent, but not great. This is the Mike Leach. I'm going to pass all over. They haven't really been lighting it up. I don't know why. Mississippi State's not like Washington State, scoring 50 points, but they don't really run the ball very well. I got to look at that game, but Alabama will probably run it, and they'll probably their offense isn't the problem, but Mississippi State does not have the defense A&M does, and A&M was really fired up. Mississippi State, I don't know. I would be surprised if Alabama loses 2 in a row. You'll get a good effort from them. It's all matchups, so let me study that game. Ryan, Ohio State versus Georgia in the national championship. What do you think, Teaserking? Ohio State will win out and play number 2 versus 3 playoff game. Well, Georgia wins it. Nobody's beating Georgia this year. I can see Ohio State. They look really strong. I would have said Penn State. It depends on their quarterback because they looked really strong. A lot of the big Michigan State looked very good. Forget Wisconsin, Iowa over on the other side, but Penn State had them. They were blowing them out, so I don't trust Iowa. You know, they're good defensively, but when they play in Ohio State, they can't defend that. I think the third team in that mix is Cincinnati. They're unbelievable, very strong, great quarterback, great defense, and they walked into Notre Dame as a road favorite and beat them. So Cincinnati's team 3. I don't see how Clemson makes it in as team 4. They have no offense. They have a great defense, but they got no offense. So I can almost see Oregon lost to Stanford. They're out. I would say a second SEC team, either Alabama. I don't know. Oklahoma, there's no way they fit. Texas, if they beat Oklahoma, but Arkansas beat Texas, that's just a bunch of chaos there. But I could see the 4th coming out of the Big 12. So Ohio State, Georgia, Cincinnati, and probably Alabama are just because it's all political. Alabama gets in, but no, they won't, because if Georgia beats Alabama, they'll have 2 losses. They won't make it. So it could be can't be Pac-10 and with Cincinnati, and so it almost gives you the second team in the SEC. I don't see how Clemson gets in, and there's really nobody else there. So right now we got 3 good teams, and the 4th's real hard to find. I'm Ravens fan, and I'm very mad with the D sucks. Exactly. Martindale and their defensive coaches, they blitz in every play, and Bass covering from cornerbacks and that. Greetings from Mexico. Hello, Black Tappies, Vlad Blank. You got such a long name, I don't know how to pronounce you, but I'll just call you Black Tappies. Yeah, well, that's what you look at. Baltimore doesn't have a good defense. I gave you the defensive teams. Buffalo is the best defense right now. The Bears, New England, New Orleans, these are good defensive teams. But you've got to put the mirror up and go, who are these teams this year? And that's what I just did in the beginning of the video, was I'm ranking every team. Are they an offensive team, an under team, an A, a Z? Where are they? Because now Arizona and Dallas are A teams, but they weren't beginning of the year. So you've got to unwind everything and go, who's Dallas playing? Who's Arizona playing? That's who I'm betting on. Buffalo, KC, guess what? They're an over team. Tampa Bay's pretty much doesn't have their defense, but you're not going to stop Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is looking good. Minnesota, they got their heads up their asses. The Bears are starting Fields. Jacksonville's starting Lawrence. So, I mean, it's a very I'd say here's my 4. I'd say right now the best teams are San Diego and Buffalo in the AFC, and you got Tampa and Dallas, and Arizona in the NFC. Those 5 are the cream of the crop. And that's who you want to be betting on as a dog, especially. I think we got San Diego. To quote you, what you're just saying, Black Tappies, is you got we got San Diego getting 3 from Baltimore, and San Diego is the best road dog in the league by a mile. It's a sick trend. I'll talk about it on my pros, but get that in. That's where you tease it. That's why we tease San Diego in 9. All my trends and stats are in teaser. So when I do a teaser trend, and I'm saying San Diego is this road dog that's 17, that's in teasers. Well, that's why we play them straight up. They're probably maybe 8-8. But when you got them in a teaser and you're getting over 7, who the hell is going to beat San Diego by more than 7? They walked into Kansas City and beat them. Baltimore, as you just said, doesn't have a defense. So how are you going to stop that offense? And guess what? They got Bosa, and they got a really good defense, and they're playing very well, and they can run, and they're a complete team, San Diego. They're an A team. Anytime you get an A team as a dog, that's a good bet. So bet San Diego this week, and I'm going to tell you to be a serious professional bettor, as I am. You're not a Ravens fan. You're just a football fan. You're ranking the teams, and you're taking advantage of good situations. San Diego +9. You're betting against Seattle because of the new Geno Smith. You're betting, against the Z teams. You're betting on the A teams. You're a professional handicapper, professional bettor. We play to win. We try to increase our bankroll. We slowly increase our units. That's what we are. And to win in teasers, you bet a team that you love, 2 or 3, and at least 2 teasers. And I've been extremely successful doing it because the game's going to win, right? And then so Georgia under I love, so I'm putting it in 2 teasers. So now all I got to do or to put it in a 3-team teaser. But I love the game. I know the under, it's either a good bet or it isn't. If it's a good bet and I like it, why not put it in 2 teasers? Now I don't have to go 4-0. I could go 3-0 to win. And that's what I do, and I bet more on it. What do you think Cincinnati do to UCF? It ain't going to be pretty. Okay, I had East Carr. I loved that game. East Carr, I had +16 against UCF. I thought East Carr should have been favored in the game. UCF's laying 10. Gabriel's out. He broke his clavicle or his collarbone. He's out. So the backup, who knows? He's not very good. And it ended up UCF wins somehow 20-16 over a pretty good scoring East Carolina team. I had 16 in East Carolina, easy win. Cincinnati's laying 20 over UCF. Cincinnati will not be flat. Their goal is to make the playoffs. Do not look for them to be flat. They're at home. That's a huge bet on Cincinnati. They'll win by 35, 40 points, I think, because they are explosive. They're going to score on defense. They're going to blitz the quarterback, who's not very good anyway. He's the backup, and UCF does not have a defense. UCF's an over team, which means they score and their defense sucks, but they don't have their quarterback. Gabriel's a good quarterback. He's no Mackenzie Milton, but the backup comes in is no Gabriel. He's no Milton, so he's not going to score a lot, but their defense sucks. Look for Cincinnati to really run it up on UCF because they want to make the playoff. Derek, Clemson play on Friday. What Clemson team do you think come to play against Syracuse? Team the defensive team. Over under 45.5. Bet the game under 51. Keep it under. As long as you can get the 50s in these Georgia Clemson games, keep it under. Don't look at the game. They don't have a quarterback. They have a great defense. Syracuse is a very strong team. Syracuse I have actually is a B team, so they have a good defense. So they'll be able to hold Clemson in check. Syracuse won't score much on Clemson. Just play the game under. Don't make more of it than it is. Don't think too much. Under team playing a B team who has a good defense. There won't be a lot of scoring. Black Teppies. Rams and Cowboys have good defense. No, the Rams do not have a good defense. Sorry for my long nickname. It's Romanian. I got a Romanian girlfriend. She's telling me how bad the COVID is there. A lot of people are dying and with COVID, and she can't find a job. So she comes to me for PayPal. But definitely love the Romanian girl. It's very, very beautiful. So let me go into my spreadsheet, and I'll give you the top defenses one more time. So come on. Okay, so here's your top 10 defenses. Buffalo lays 13, Denver 15, Carolina 17, which is question mark because they played the Jets and they played, I think it was Houston. So they played 2 teams with non-existent offenses. Dallas did light them up, so be careful with Carolina. New Orleans at 18, and they played Aaron Rodgers. New England at 18, Arizona at 19, Cincinnati at 20, the Bears at 20, Minnie at 22, Pitt at 22. Baltimore is 23. They are not in the top 10. Dallas is also 23, so don't think Baltimore and Dallas have good defenses against weaker teams. So if they play, we'll look at Dallas against the Giants. The Giants put up 20 on them until their whole team got hurt. Atlanta's starting to score. Yeah, against Jacksonville, Miami, teams with let's look at the weakest offenses. There's your top 10 bad offenses. The Jets score 13 freaking points a game. Miami at 16, the Bears at 17, Houston at 18, Jacksonville at 19, Pitt at 19, New England 19, Detroit and Denver at 20, the Giants, Indy, and Atlanta at 21. So that's the type of team when you've got this strong defense that you want to play again. I keep track of yards just for the hell of it to see the correlation between yards and points. There are here's a team, the Giants. They get 391 yards a game, and they score only 20 points. But I look at the Buffalo gets 416 yards a game and scores 34, and Dallas 451 and scores 34. But then I can come down to Baltimore, 434, but they only get 25 points. So I'm still working on that correlation. And then New Orleans only gets 300 yards, but they get 25 points. So I'm trying to get correlation. The best correlation is the balanced team. When I see a team like New England and they throw for 258 and they only run for 80, or Pittsburgh throws for 257, they only run for 74, and then Miami, the Jets, neither of them run. When I see a team that can't run, the defense is usually over because they're not resting their defense. So that's what happens. So that's what I'm looking at. So, no, the Rams and Cowboys do not have great defenses. It's just you've got to look at the stats. Look, I just gave you the best defensive teams. That's who has the best defense. Forget last year. Forget that the Rams have Aaron Donald. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is, what do they actually do in the game? And they're giving up 23 a game, both of them. They're okay defenses, but look at the Giants ripped Dallas, and the Rams got Arizona lit them up for 30-some points, and that should never happen. So that's it. Yeah, Romanian girls are so cute. There are some blonde girls, but pale-skinned girls with black hair. Yeah, well, my girl's dark hair and dark eyes, and I don't know, beautiful girl. Great show, super informative. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. That's why I do it. I don't do it for me. I do it for everybody. Again, I'm trying to educate you as a good professor should. You're in my classroom. So I want you to learn. I'm teaching you what to look for, what to learn, how to play. And then I'm here to help you on second guesses. Should I play, do you think Cincy beats UCF? So I give you an honest opinion. I don't know that I'm betting the game yet. It's too early. I probably am, but I got the one thing you have to look at besides just looking superficially at the game is the injuries, right? I lost the Army game against Ball State because the Army quarterback was out. So you've got to, but it wasn't really info that you really knew, but that's what you got to look for is there's a site called covers.com. It gives you NFL and college injuries. So you click on NFL, you click on the drop down for injuries, and you look at it. Most of the NFL is questionable. You got to ignore. Unless the guy's out or doubtful, he's playing. Everybody in the NFL shoots up and plays. So you got to be careful with that. In college, not as much, but most of the players anybody probable is playing, and I don't see why they're on the list. Anybody questionable is probably playing. Okay, let's go to college because I am doing both pro and college, and we just spent a lot of time doing the pros. So let's look at college. What did we learn last week? Coastal Carolina, they're the champs. They have the best quarterback, and I hate when I hear this. Oh, the Mississippi quarterback Coral is the best, highest rated quarter. He'll be drafted number one. Bullshit. The best quarterback is Coastal Carolina's Grayson Mccall. He's the best by a mile. I mean, let's go through his stats real quickly. Let's get to the right file. This is taking a minute. I got this Google Chrome and I hate it. It's so slow when they back up the whole file, and my football files are really big. I got to get to the quarterbacks. But this Grayson Mccall is unbelievable. He's the best. If I was drafting, I would draft him number one. I'd draft Ritter from Cincinnati number two, right off the bat. So anyway, Coastal Carolina buries Arkansas State, who has a pretty good offense. They held them to 20. They were laying, I think, 29, so they win by 32. But Arkansas State's not a bad team. Cincinnati was not flat after Notre Dame, and they killed them. Cincinnati is definitely a top three team. Ohio State, Georgia, Cincinnati is better than Alabama. They would give Alabama all they want if they played with their defense and Ritter as quarterback. They're a complete team. They're one of the strongest A's. Coastal Carolina is an A. What the hell happened here? Florida State beats North Carolina 35-25. I couldn't believe the score. Mackenzie Milton did not quarter. The backup did. And he's one of these option type of quarterbacks. So he goes, he throws a little, he runs. It's this is why they get injured. You don't want your quarterback running. He gets injured, you're screwed. If he hands off, the running back gets injured, that's okay. You got 5 or 6 running backs in college. So again, North Carolina, this is what gives you fits, is you don't know. Now, I didn't like them at 17.5 because you never know what team shows up. But North Carolina, unbelievable, and that's a matchup. Michigan State looked good. I had them against Rutgers. In the Z Bowl, Mass actually beat UConn, and I was surprised because UConn scored a lot the last week. They beat them 27-13. How the hell does that happen? How does Mass beat anybody? They're a terrible team. So it just makes UConn even a bigger Z. Wake Forest, Syracuse, both good teams. East Car we talked about. Ohio State just rolls Maryland. Again, Maryland's an over team. So Maryland's problem is they'd have no defense. So when they play a good offensive team, they're going to get killed. When they play a good defensive team, they're going to get killed. So against these better teams, they're not in the game. If they play like Purdue, Illinois, even Illinois, they barely won. So you want to bet defensive teams, not offensive teams. Another Z winning. Akron beats Bowling Green. What the hell was that? I mean, Bowling Green, not that they're that good, but Akron's terrible. They don't even score 20 a game. They put up 35. So that was just, again, it's a shocking one that you just look at and go, how the hell did that happen? But there you go. Toledo loses to Northern Illinois. I thought Toledo was the class of that. The MAC basically sucks. Don't bet on it. It's just not a very good team. Very good conference. Buffalo is normally the cream of the conference. Their problem is their quarterback is not very good. Come on. So again, Kent beat Buffalo 48-38. Okay, here's Grayson Mccall, Coastal Carolina, 6 games, quarterback rating 234. I don't think anybody else is in the 2s. He throws for 79.8%, 246 a game. Average yards is 13.6, 14 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He's the best quarterback in the country by a mile. And he's more of a pocket. He's not like a running type of quarterback. So this is the guy that should be the first draft pick. That's who you want to play. Oklahoma, should your Spencer is not a Heisman quarterback. Yeah, I don't see why Spencer, just because he's the starting quarterback at Oklahoma doesn't make him a Heisman Trophy candidate. The guy, put it this way, he wouldn't start at Alabama and he wouldn't start at Ohio State. The only school he'd probably start at is Clemson because their quarterback sucks. But there's a lot of schools that guy would not be starting at. I don't see. He's not very good at all. So let's see. So forget the MAC. Just don't even bet it. Liberty, very good. Malik, very good quarterback. They played a good Middle Tennessee State team and just killed them 41-13. I had the over in that game. Over was 58. I went over 52. They scored 54. So I get the winner there. But that was Liberty's also one of these very strong A teams. Virginia, Louisville, 2 over teams. 34-33 is a 67, over 69. Cunningham, the Louisville quarterback, I said, be careful, see if he's playing. He did play, and you can see the score. Air Force, very strong over Wyoming. Wyoming's a good team. I was worried about that, but Air Force got the win. Boise, surprised over BYU. BYU's starting quarterback didn't play, and Boise got the win. Boise, I told you, very tough as a dog like that in that type of game. They went into UCF and lost a close one. They were a dog. Marshall, here comes the coaching change, and he fucks it up. Marshall, very strong team last year. They're beating Old Dominion 20-13. So stay away from Marshall. They're not very good this year. San Jose State's quarterback is out. Starkle, I think, or Snarkle from Mississippi or Mississippi State. He got hurt. He's out. He got hurt a couple weeks ago. So they are not very good now. USC, figure that team out. Utah, very good defense, and now they're starting to score. Oregon State, Washington State. I love Oregon State, but I don't know. A strip sack on the quarterback. Washington State won. Again, with Washington State team, be careful with Oregon State as a road favorite. Stick to them as a home favorite or a road dog. They'll play you tough. They're a very good team, but they should never have lost to Washington State. They got outcoached. Tennessee looks very strong. They're a B team, but they're scoring. They put up 45 on a weak South Car team. SMU, Navy, no excuse here. There was a strip sack for a touchdown for Navy. SMU only getting 31. Navy probably ball controlled them. And 31-24. I'm kind of surprised by that score. I thought SMU would win by more. Yeah, it's a big game. They had to win it, and they barely won it. TCU looks very strong, 52-31 over Texas Tech. Georgia, we talked about 34-10, over under 47 down to 50, go under 53, 34-10. I was never worried. I think they scored late. Again, they held Auburn to 10. Auburn, they've shut out Arkansas. The next lock under is when they play Florida. So they got Auburn, lock under, W. Kentucky, lock under. We'll see. Hopefully W. Florida, lock under. Hopefully W. As long as they keep giving me 46-47 with Georgia, I keep going under. If it goes down to 40, then I got to rethink it. But Georgia's got an explosive offense. The only reason I locked it is Auburn's got a good defense. Kentucky's got a very good defense. So I'm locking it under because of Kentucky's defense as well as Georgia's defense. They're not going to be a lot of points scored, but Georgia's got a very good offense. They're a very strong team. Kentucky puts up 42 on LSU. Now LSU doesn't have a defense. Stingley was out. He hurt his foot. So you lost Stingley, so he's the best corner in the country. Baylor, yeah, I told you, they have that balanced offense, so they're a very explosive team. Florida beats Vandy 42-0. Vandy's the Z team. Any good team in the SEC that plays Vandy will kill them because they need the win, because you got to play Georgia and Florida and Alabama and Auburn and these teams. So when you get a Vandy, you blow them up. and that's what Florida did. But Florida was laying 38, and they win 42-0. So, again, I didn't play the game, but, Florida, and I think they were after the loss to Kentucky. So you can see when a team loses, they get very pissed. They play a very good game here. They don't look ahead. They're like, okay, we got to get back and win. Let's see. Georgia State, Louisiana Monroe, 2 Z teams, and Georgia State puts up a 55-21 on Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe is them in Connecticut. You just find a decent team and bet against them. That's what you learned from that. Wisconsin, Illinois, 24-0. Wisconsin, again, 2 under teams. That's all Wisconsin is, an under team. They can't score, good defense. Illinois, they can't score, good defense. Play the game under. It was 42. It was a low over-under, and they still only got to 24. So Wisconsin just doesn't score a lot. They run the ball and play defense, so they're a good under team. Oklahoma, Texas, 55-48. Again, Texas blows a big lead against Oklahoma. Just unbelievable. They stopped scoring. I mean, basically, Texas just stopped, and Oklahoma comes back. They get the win. And I had over 63 in the game, 57. Why? Because they both are pretty good over team. They both can score. Neither team has a great defense. Mostly Oklahoma, I went over because they beat Kansas State 37-31. I said, if Kansas State puts up 31 on you, Texas is, going to put up a lot. But now how good does Arkansas look beating this Texas team who plays Oklahoma? All right, that's why you look at the games and you go, well, shit, Arkansas beat Texas. And then they beat Texas A&M, who beat Alabama. So that's why you look at it and go, and that's why you got to rank Arkansas strong, is because that's what you're looking at. Michigan, Nebraska, I thought Nebraska would win the game. I fucked up. I went under because both teams have a good defense. All of a sudden, Michigan's scoring. So, okay, it was a good win for Michigan. I ranked both these teams as an A. So if I would have taken the dog instead of the under, I win. I never would have thought of taking Michigan. It was either Nebraska 9.5 or the under, and I thought under was safer. But Martinez is looking really good, so you can bet Nebraska. They'll win this week pretty easily. Alabama, what can we say? How can A&M score 41 when they couldn't? They average about 20 a game. Again, they only scored 10 in Arkansas, so what does that tell you? So this is emotion. This is college football. It's emotional, and that's what you got, a very emotional A&M team. This week they'll be lucky to show up. Arkansas, Ole Miss, exactly what I thought. I didn't think there'd be that much points, but Mississippi scores a lot. Arkansas, they got a good running attack and a good quarterback. They're going to score on you, and their defense is pretty good. So here you go. Arkansas scores 51. Georgia shuts them out. How good is Georgia? UTSA against Western Kentucky. UTSA is a very good team. We've talked about them. They're an A team. Western Kentucky's an over. They just score a bunch with no defense, and that's exactly what happened. UTSA 52-46. They ran the ball a lot, and they were able to keep pace. So, you get scared of Mississippi. They score a lot. Western Kentucky scores a lot. These offensive teams, you get scared betting against them because you go, I'm going to put up a 50. Can I keep up? But if you get an A team like a UTSA, and they were getting 3.5, so you could have had – I didn't play it. You could have had 9.5. They win the game outright. So for you money line players, when you get an A team playing an over team, now the money line probably wasn't that big. It was 3.5. But when you get that, you got a money line. That's a good money line because the A teams, remember, they went into Memphis. They were down 21-0 and beat Memphis 30-28. So UTSA is a very strong dog. They're fine on the road. They won at Memphis. So keep an eye on them. Iowa, Penn State, we talked about, take the dog there. The quarterback doesn't get hurt. I lost so many quarterbacks this last week. The quarterback doesn't get hurt. Penn State's up 17-3. They're gonna kill them. So again, keep your eye on Clifford. Is he playing? If he's playing, Penn State will be pissed off in their next game. Iowa, This is a very emotional game, so we'll see what happens. Notre Dame VTech. Notre Dame wins 32-29. Not one of Notre Dame's better teams. I don't love their quarterback from Wisconsin. Any quarterback from Wisconsin who's not named Russell Wilson, how do you take the guy? It's unbelievable. VTech's a good team. UCLA, Arizona, I nailed that one. Arizona's the Z team. UCLA scores a lot. That's exactly what you're looking for. And I had the spread at 24, and they won the game by 18. I would have lost it if it was 24 down to 18. The spread was 16. So I was already getting a teaser by getting only a 16. That's why I bet it. I bet it in 2 teasers. So I'm only laying 10. They win by 18, an easy win. They made me earn it, but again, that's what you're looking for. You know they're going to score, and they put up 34. And the last one, Nevada, New Mexico State, 55-28. Again, Nevada puts up 55, and they get backdoored at the end to only win by 27. If you don't tease it, you lost. So there you go. So again, college is just so hard. Oklahoma should your Spencer's not a Heisman. Sorry, Spencer's not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Spencer Radler. But so you're looking for the A teams. College is more over-unders. There's nothing like Georgia under. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. You don't have a Tom Brady and stuff. And it's more emotional. So you need a live dog, which is an A team, or you need a strong, an Ohio State. Somebody can score a lot to make sure they cover. So like Ohio State, you don't want to fuck with Iowa, but you want to fuck with the Maryland. The teams that don't have the good defenses, they're going to go up and down the field on them. But if they played Iowa could, defensively could give them problems, and they have before. So you got to be careful with that. So what do you take away from college? Again, the Z teams show up. The SMU Navy game, it just boggles your mind that think about these running teams. They're going to eat the clock. That's why they're more under. It's funny. The over-under on the SMU game was 56, and they scored 55. It was right there. So, again, keep that in mind that's what you're looking for. You got to keep that in mind. So, again, watch the good teams off a loss. Alabama should be on fire this week, but, again, I think they play don't they play a tough team? I'm trying to remember my Alabama. Yeah, they got Mississippi State, who's a E team. So they're an E. They scored 25. They give up 25. So the defense is okay. I think Alabama rips them, and I don't think Mississippi State's offense. Let's see if I have numbers on that. Yeah, my computer's. Sorry about this. My computer's doing a dance. Okay. So again, you've got to understand why you're betting the game. So again, look at the game with no points. Pick the winner. Pick the score. That'll give you like Alabama, Mississippi State. Let's pick the score. Alabama should get in the 40s. Mississippi State in the 20s. So 42-20. So if the spread is less than 20 and which it is, it's 17, and the over-under we think will be 60 is only 59. So it's probably a good over bet, or it's a good Alabama bet. And you got to look at Alabama laying 11. What are the odds on Alabama minus 11 against Mississippi State coming through? And that's really what you got to look for. Alabama will be pissed off after losing because they are going for the playoff. They can't lose this game because they know they got to play Georgia. And good luck beating Georgia because Georgia's not just a defensive team. They got a good quarterback and good receivers, and they can score on you. So Alabama is not beating Georgia this year, so they can't afford to lose it. That doesn't mean they won't lose it, but they can't afford to. Teams like Florida needs the game because they lost to Kentucky, but they're pretty much out of it. They'll never beat Georgia. So you start looking at backs against the wall in college. So you can go to standings, you can go to Yahoo and click on college standings and see teams that are like a game behind that need it, like Kansas City in the pros, right? They have to win this game. They don't have to, but it's pretty much that it's a must win for them. So I was looking at that. I didn't see too many teams that were any good that needed it. Don't play like the Lions are 0-5 and they're 0-4. What are they? Yeah, we're in week 6. So the Lions are 0-5. Their back's not against the wall. They stink. So forget the teams that stink that they need to win. They don't know how to win. That's why they keep losing. But you want to look at that. So again, bet strength against weakness, bet against the Z teams. When you rank the teams over and under, then if the overs play, then like here, Georgia, Kentucky are both A teams, which means they both have good defenses. Good defenses will beat good offenses. Kentucky held Florida to 10, and the only reason they scored 20 was a blocked field goal. They ran in for a touchdown. So that's a 13-10 game. So against Florida, they score 13, but they give up 13. So here you got them against Georgia. They might hold them into the 20s. They're not going to score. Auburn has a good offense, better than Kentucky. Arkansas, we know, has a good offense. And that's just how strong Georgia is. So that's what you look at. But keep it in this year. That's what you look at this year is teams playing strong teams. Did they beat them or did they lose? Arkansas beat Texas. So you say, shit, Arkansas is pretty good. Kentucky beats Florida. Kentucky's pretty good. Georgia, you can see. Clemson can't put up 10 points against the high school team. Great defense. Clemson's an under team this year. They're not an A team. They don't have the good quarterback. They're not scoring 40 points a game. They're barely winning, and they're playing good defense. So Clemson's a defensive team. Oklahoma and Texas are offensive teams. So you've got to figure out the team. That's the key to winning and betting and doing what we're doing and analyzing what is the team. So that's what I give you. We just walked through the whole NFL. If anybody's joining late, just go back to the beginning of the video when we're done, and you'll see that I've graded the teams, and it's based on the points, which I don't know any other way. Baltimore watching Indy, was that an A team? Not against Indy, but you look at the whole season. I think Baltimore's a B team, but you've got to look at the whole thing and where the game's at. So Denver at home versus Denver at Pittsburgh, Arizona, where are they at? And San Diego, you got them at Baltimore getting points. That's not going to bother them. They won at KC. So you got to look at the team's personality, which is from the coach. The NFL coaching sucks. The college coaching sucks. All this transfer portal team from one year to the other. Look at Michigan State. They sucked last year. Transfer in a bunch of guys. All of a sudden, they're a freaking team going to give Ohio State all they want. I mean, they're going to give – I think they got next week, not this week, Michigan State. I'm telling you now, I'm teasing the dog, and I don't know about the over-under, but it's a dog play the whole way. I think it's in Michigan State. And give me Michigan State as a home dog, and I'll Michigan against Nebraska, 32. Michigan State is probably a little bit better than Nebraska. Again, you give me points with the home dog, and I'm all over it. but I know the home team, what they are. So again, I'm looking to play against the Z teams, an over team, So we look at, for an example, UCLA plays Washington this week. I haven't studied the game. I'm just superficially looking at it. I see, I believe that Washington's a 1.5-point favorite yesterday. I don't know if it still is. Washington's an under team. They don't score. They got a good defense. UCLA scores a lot, doesn't have a great defense. I like when an over team is the dog because I look at Washington. They're not going to score a lot. UCLA scores. I like their quarterback. I like their coach. And can they win easily? Is it going to be, are they going to score? Absolutely. Oregon State beat Washington 27-24, 30-27. And Oregon State, I think the game was at Oregon State. It had been at Washington, I think it was. But here you got UCLA. Now that to me is a live dog, an over versus an under, getting points in conference, strong UCLA team, good quarterback. That's what I'm looking for. I will take UCLA in 7.5. That's why we bet that. Without the teaser, I can't play that game. 1.5, I don't know. 7.5 in UCLA is a whole much different than UCLA plus 1.5. So we got the right number. We got the right team. Now, if they made UCLA a 3-point favorite, I'd be lost. I don't like it. But getting the over team as the dog over 7, that's what I'm looking for. So that's why it's like some weeks I got great picks, and some weeks it's tough because it depends. I got San Diego as a road dog. I love it. If San Diego is a 3-point favorite, then that's what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, Seattle would have been a dog this week, but they don't have Russell Wilson. I can't play him as a dog. That would have been a perfect one against Pittsburgh. That would have been a lock. Seattle plus 9 all day. But I don't think I think they would have been a 3-point favorite. So that's what we look for. So, again, teams after a loss, Alabama, I wouldn't bet against them this week. And so you just got to go through the list. LSU, Florida. Again, LSU got killed by Kentucky. Florida won after their loss. Texas A&M, look for them. They're 8 over Missouri. And A&M's an under team, right? And they're going to be flat as hell. And Missouri scores a lot but has no defense. Missouri should be able to give them a game, but they're so weak defensively. It's very hard. Over under a 61. I don't know, but I do know A&M will be flat. But again, I don't know. Missouri's the type of team I can trust, even as a home dog, but I don't trust A&M after beating Alabama. They'll be flat. Texas, Oak State, Texas after the loss to Oklahoma. Are they going to be flat? Oak State has a good defense, and they beat Baylor, so my hat's off to them. They scored at the end. Baylor, it was 17-14, Oak State, and Oak State got a late touchdown to win by 10 over Baylor. Holding Baylor shows me a lot. And against Texas, how flat will Texas be after that Oklahoma game? Very emotional. Anytime you're up and you blow the lead, look out. Oklahoma 12 over TCU. I like TCU there. They look very strong. They're an over team, but Oklahoma, their defense is gone. I mean, Texas scored big on them. Kansas State put up 31 on them. Over under a 67. I don't like that with TCU, but I do like TCU at 18. Ooh, that's a big number. So you start looking. That's why you grade the teams. What makes it easier, you don't have to keep flipping back. There's too many games, so you just mark it in here. And so you go, okay, UCLA over, Washington under. Oh, they're the dog. Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking for to bet. So that's what that's how you look at it. We talked about Wisconsin and Army. Wisconsin's 13, over under of 42. Can you believe this? So if the quarterback plays, I like Army in 19 all day. Army in 19. Because it's a different offense, right? You got options. They don't see that from Michigan, or they didn't see it from Illinois. It's going to be hard for Wisconsin, even though it's a passing team. Army knows how to. You can't stop that offense with the right quarterback. But I think that's an under game. If the quarterback doesn't play for sure, it's an under game. Army likes to run the ball, run the clock, and go for it on fourth downs, and they're well coached and well defense. I don't see that. Wisconsin puts up a lot of points in this game. I don't know if they're going to put up 13. Army's got an excellent defense. Don't kid yourself. Army is not Vanderbilt, or they're not, let's say, Ohio. Ohio's a Z team in the MAC. Army would beat, well, they should beat the MAC teams if their quarterback plays, so I'll differentiate that. But Wisconsin would kill Ohio, but they're not going to kill Army, and that's the difference. That's what you're looking for, is the weak team, the South Florida, the Akrons, the real weak teams. And again, are they still weak teams? And that's the problem. So what happens is they screw you over and they flip quarterbacks on you, and then off you go with the different quarterback, and then you and then all of a sudden the Z team, because they can't score and they light it up because they switch quarterbacks. So you got to be careful with that. I do have that list of the switch quarterbacks. Dennis, hello. Go against teams: Vegas, San Jose State, Hawaii. Tease New Mexico State plus the points last 2-week winner. Thanks for the knowledge. I'm a new subscriber to your locks. Yeah, sure, Dennis, no problem. Yeah, it depends what the line is. I mean, Nevada beat them they beat them by 28, but yeah, you had 30-some points. Yeah, Vegas sucks. San Jose State, now their quarterback's out. If he comes back, they're a pretty good team. And Hawaii, yeah, we talked about. But, yeah, watch the quarterback changes. If I can get into my Google crap, which I hate, it just sucks. Am I froze out? Anyway, I can't get into my notes, but my notes shows you the new quarterbacks. I think it's a lot of MAC teams and Sun Belt teams that I think Akron switched their quarterbacks. All of a sudden, he throws for 3 touchdowns. So you're really screwed there. So you got to be careful. So watch the box scores, or just ask me, because I watch the box scores and I go through the quarterbacks and I go, wait a minute, Carlton was the quarterback for the first 5 games, and now Smith's the quarterback. What the fuck? Why, and I'm wondering, why did they score 35 points when they averaged 10? And then you see that's why. Then you got to see, does the kid keep playing, and then does he keep lighting it up? And then why didn't they play this kid in the first place? So that's where the coach doesn't know what he's got in talent-wise, a.k.a. Michigan with Tom Brady, and they don't know what they have, and then they wonder why they get fired because they can't spot talent. All right, everybody, it's been 2 hours, and please let me know if there's any other questions. I'll probably be doing, what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, I figure the pros on Thursday and college on Friday, or maybe I'll do them both Thursday. So obviously these are longer because it's interaction. Before, I would just do a video. It wasn't live, and I'd try to keep them to a half hour or so. So because we're all live and we can interact, and I think we both like that. Then I'm going as long as there's questions and comments and things that are there. But I think that's it. So I need to study now the college and pros for next week. Again, I went through the pro. So everybody knows what the pro ranking is. I said in the beginning of the video. So please watch the first, 5 or 10 minutes was the first 45 minutes was pros, but I go through the pro teams. So again, the biggest live dog I think this week is San Diego, getting 9. And Arizona could be good. I don't know. And that's it superficially. And then Dallas looks good, and Cincy over the Lions. The Giants, you got to see who's quarterbacking. Tampa Bay should handle Philly, I think. Philly's defense is weak against a good quarterback. And look for Tampa to put pressure on Philly, Green Bay, and the Bears. So I got to check the histories. So what you do with the Bears in Green Bay is you go out to a site and you get the history, right? And it gives you the last 8-9 games, and you just look at it. Okay, who does anybody dominate? Is it a teaser? Is it a home team? Do you tease the dog? And you try to see how the teams are, and from that you then play. Usually I go with the trend unless there's injuries. It worked with Seattle against San Francisco. I took the dog, which was Seattle. The dog was the play, or Seattle was the play. It didn't work against the Rams in Arizona. The Rams owned Arizona. So it's not 100%, but it gives you a flavor. It's one of the techniques. And now you see the Rams are in trouble because you go, well, wait a minute, they always beat Arizona. Arizona put up 37. Then you realize the Rams don't have a good defense. One thing to note, you got to be careful of these teams that sign a lot of $30, $35 million players, such as the Rams signed Stafford $30 million, and then Aaron Donald, and then their cornerback, who I always forget his name. The problem is you need a lot of players because of injuries. So New England had it right. They gave Brady like $15 million, and they did anybody that got really expensive, they let them go, because this way they can have a whole defense of $7-8 million players who are good, but not the $30 million player, because you don't have enough money to have a whole team of $30 million players. So therefore, a lot of the other players are weak, and if you get an injury, now you're really screwed. So you got to be careful. So Dallas is they got Prescott and Elliott, so they got to be careful, but their defense is cheap right now. Problem will be when their defense gets expensive, and that's what ends up happening. That's why you see Khalil Mack. That's why he left Oakland. They couldn't afford, either you have him and Derek Carr, or you get rid of Mack so you can pay more players and have more backup. And really, that's what you need to do. You need that star quarterback, but you don't need to pay him $30 million. You could sign a Jake Fromm cheap, and then you build your defense with a bunch of $7, $8, $9 million players. You don't draft. You draft receivers high, running backs first and second round, and then the linemen you buy cheap later. I think that's why the Lions draft the lineman in the first round every year, not because they need him. He's cheap. How much does it cost to draft a quarterback in the number 3 spot or the number 10 spot versus drafting an offensive guard? I'm sure it's much cheaper to draft an old lineman in the first round, which is why the Lions do it, because they're very cheap. That's why they never win. You need talent to win. They never do it. So we take advantage. We just keep betting against them, laughing, going, there's like 5 Lion offensive linemen on other teams that are starting, and they're still drafting offensive linemen, but their defense can't stop the win. That is one team I think Georgia would beat, is the Lions. No, I mean, Goff and the kid from Georgia, who I can't think of his name, Swift. They're big league players, but their defense sucks, and their coaching's terrible. All right, I'm all talked out. Let me know if there's any other questions, but go to the site, www.teaserking.com, and buy a week or buy the month's cheaper, or the whole year is even cheaper. Whole year is only $600, and you get all the way through the Super Bowl. A week's $100, $100 and a quarter. You can buy the locks. You can buy a month for $300, and you get all the locks in it. But this way you can confirm your plays. You've asked me the questions. I'm giving you my opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm going to bet them. I've got to look at them. Now, I'm more than likely betting the Georgia under unless the spread really drops. Or like the Minnesota-Detroit was a lock at 8. It's not a lock at 10. It's a lock at 8. To keep it under 3. So normally that's what you got to understand. So anyway, please feel free to ask questions. www.teaserking.com. If you email me, I'll certainly respond. And otherwise, have a great day. Thank you for joining the professor in class. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys probably Thursday about this time. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day.